It's just gone 6 o'clock on Saturday the 6th of January 2024, and let me first of all wish you a very happy new year with our first programme of 2024. And in the news this week, with temperatures set to drop over the coming days, doctors are reminding people to look after themselves over the winter. Of course, we've had things very mildly up to now, but it looks like we're in for a change. With wintry weather can make some health problems worse and even lead to serious complications for people with long-term health conditions. NHS Dorset is therefore offering the following advice to people to stay warm this January. If you're not very mobile, are over 65, or have a health condition such as heart or lung disease, you should be heating your house to at least 18 degrees centigrade. Keep your bedroom at 18 degrees centigrade all night if you can, and keep bedroom windows closed. If you're under 65, healthy and active, you can safely have your home cooler than 18 degrees centigrade as long as it's comfortable. Use a hot water bottle or electric blanket to keep warm if you need to, but do not use both at the same time for obvious reasons. Water and electricity don't mix. Have at least one hot meal a day. Eating regularly helps you to keep warm. Have hot drinks regularly. Draw curtains at dusk and keep doors closed to block out drafts. And get your heating system checked regularly by a qualified professional. Now, Dr. Forbes Watson is a local GP and chair of the Dorset General Practice Alliance, and he said, with cold weather forecast over the coming days, we are asking anyone who considers themselves at risk, in particularly those people with long-term health conditions, to take extra care and stay safe. If you have family, friends, or know of anyone who may be vulnerable, please check in on them to see if they need any help. Those little things can make a big difference. During the cold snap, if you have any concerns about your health or that of a loved one, you can use the 111 service either by telephoning 111 or by going online to 111.nhs.uk. That's 111.nhs.uk. Now, staying with the weather, between 3 p.m. on the 4th of January and the morning of the 5th of January, Dorset Council Highways crews were called out 82 times to deal with issues relating to the significant rainfall across the county. Multi-skilled crews, each typically comprising of 2 people, cleared gullies and drains blocked with debris, washed and blown into them. If the blockages could not be cleared, flood warning signs were erected. Emergency pothole repairs were made where possible, or barriers and cones put in place if they could not be fixed immediately. The biggest issues were on the Isle of Purbeck and surrounding area and up to the Baker's Arms roundabout, where council staff worked with Dorset Police to close some roads for a period of time. Now, the council's highways department say that crews are also equipped with chainsaws and were able to clear trees and branches, or to call upon contractors to deal with more dangerous or larger trees if necessary. Teams also attended at the request of Dorset Police road traffic collisions to clear debris and spillages and support traffic management as required. Now, flooding has caused damage across the highway network, including extensive damage to Shaw Road, Swanage, and a landslip material on the highway near East Lulworth Army Camp. This will require significant follow-up assessment and action, which will take some time to resolve. With the temperatures falling, Dorset Council gritting teams will be out in the coming days. Remember that on untreated minor roads, they may be icy after the amount of rain we've had recently. So please take time, take care on those necessary journeys, and drive to the conditions of the road. Now, most importantly, if you come across any hazard or issues with any of the highways, and like me, you probably didn't know who to contact, there is a specific Dorset Council Highways telephone number that is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you see any dangerous situations on the highway, like a tree fallen across the highway, you can let Dorset Council Highways know on 01305 221 020. That's 01305 221 020. But remembering, if it is an emergency on a major road or anything like that, you can always call 999 and the police can secure the area and then get the council involved. So that's contacting Dorset Council Highways, 01305 221 020. Probably a good number to write down if you're out and about on the roads this winter. Now, proposals to build 6 flats in the former White Regis Methodist Church that has not been used since 2021 have been rejected by Dorset Council planners. Dozens of residents wrote to Dorset Council about the plans for the former Methodist building on Portland Road in White Regis, Weymouth. Concerns raised were mainly focused on the fear of it bringing in extra cars to an already congested area, as well as the size of the proposed flats. Dorset Council rejected the plans because of changes being proposed to the outside of the building and because it deemed the amenity space for potential residents unsuitable. At least one new side entrance was proposed with a flat roof rear extension used as a kitchen, likely to be removed because it's in poor condition. The site has only limited parking and limited open area around it, so there's no room for parking according to London-based Capital Securities Limited, who submitted the plans. The plans did include 8 secure cycle bays, including 2 charging points for electric bikes. Parking on nearby streets was already impossible, according to Weymouth Town Councillor Lucy Hamilton, who submitted a personal objection to the plans. She also said that whilst the proposed 1 and 2 bedroom flats might meet minimum space requirements, having only 4 flats would make the space truly livable. Dorset Councillor for the area Brian Heatley also supported residents' concerns about parking, although he also welcomed what he said was a good use of a distinguished building with a local need for smaller homes. So we'll just have to wait and see whether a new plan is submitted for the property in the future. Now, schools and communities are urged to make their new year a positive one by planting trees. We're just days away from applications closing for the Woodland Trust, but it still has 300,000 trees up for grabs of part of its free trees scheme. Free trees scheme. 300,000 trees left. Schools or community groups can get their hands on these trees, which can bring huge benefits from boosting nature, combating flooding, providing shelter, and of course reducing pollution. Steve Schill, Senior Project Lead in Woodland Creation at the Trust, urged people to apply now. He said, "This is an amazing opportunity for any schools and communities to do something really positive for the new year. Tree planting is a great way to involve lots of people and get our planting, and planting can boost mental and physical health during these dark winter months. Trees are essential in our fight against climate change, and research shows that more trees have a direct positive effect on people's health. The UK needs millions more trees to reach its 2050 carbon net zero target. By digging in with us, you'll help bring us nearer this important goal, so don't miss out." Now, the Woodland Trust scheme delivers hundreds of thousands of free trees twice a year for planting in spring and autumn. Millions of trees have been planted across the country over the last few years. Tree packs are generously funded by lead partners Sainsbury's, Lloyds Bank, OVO Energy, Bank of Scotland and Sofology. Tree packs come in packs of 30, 105 or 420 trees, and in different varieties to suit their purpose, from hedging, copse for wildlife or wild harvest. Now, the application deadline is very, very soon. It's on Monday, this Monday, the 8th of January. So you've just got a couple of days to apply. If you are a community group or a school, you can apply now at www.woodlandtrust.org.uk. That's www.woodlandtrust.org.uk. Remember, that deadline is on Monday, so you've only got a couple of days left. Now, funding for the Weymouth Safe Space Nighttime project has been paused. The Weymouth Safe Space project, funded by Dorset Council, is based in St Mary's Church in Weymouth Town Centre. Safe Space is the base where the volunteer Weymouth Street Pastors provide medical support for nighttime revellers and anyone on the streets on Friday and Saturday nights. Although the safe space is currently closed, the street pastors will continue to be out there on the streets of the town offering help where they can to local people and visitors. It does mean, though, that the medical support based in the town will not be available now as the safe space is closed. The news that the funding has been paused has come as a bit of a blow, as the street pastors had a very busy new year, but it's hoped the funding will resume later in the year. Andrew Reid, who's a spokesman for the street pastors, said, "On New Year's Eve we put 2 teams out and Safe Space was really busy, and the reason we are busy is because people trust us. If we lose this, we are worried that we are going to have to rebuild the trust. I know a lot of people are used to us being there." Mr. Reid went on to say, "Last year we were so busy in January and February, we go out all year round. It's a vital service and somewhere that people can go and be safe. We are trying to find alternative methods of keeping it open because it has great room for us. It's trusted by people and they come in on their own. People know where it is." Now, Mr. Reid says that Safe Space was funded from government money to keep people safe coming out of pandemic. That money is gone. Dorset Council do not have the money to fund us, but they will review it in April at the beginning of the financial year. A spokesman for Dorset Council said the funding has not been cut, but we have to be prudent with the funding to make sure it's spent at the most beneficial way. So this is something that happens annually when the nighttime economy in Weymouth slows down between January and March. We are committed to supporting the Safe Space for as long as the external funding allows, and we anticipate re-establishing the service towards Easter when the economy inevitably picks up. So hopefully that funding will come back, but in the meantime the street pastors are trying to see if there are other alternatives. If you've got any suggestions, then either contact us or the street pastors direct. I'm sure they would love to hear from you. Dorset Council has published its initial proposals to deliver a balanced budget next financial year, that's 2024-25. The proposals will see essential frontline council services continuing to be provided to residents and businesses and protected from cuts. Dorset Council has published its initial proposals to deliver a balanced budget next financial year. The proposals will see essential frontline council services continue to be provided and, as we said, protected from cuts. The proposed budget means that in the coming year the council will spend £376 million on its residents, an 8% increase in funding for essential services. Around 60% of the budget will support vulnerable children, families, older people and those with disabilities. In total, Dorset Council provides around 450 different services to just under 380,000 residents, including adults and children's social care, road maintenance, waste collection, housing support and libraries. This year's budget setting exercise once more takes place against a national background of extreme pressures on councils. These pressures include the high level of inflation, which affects the cost of delivering council services, and the continued growth in need of social care services as a result of the ageing population. The council proposes to increase council tax next year by just under 3% and to levy the adult social care precept of 2%. The increase would be equivalent to £1.82 extra per week for a Band D property. Councillor Gary Suttle, Dorset Council's portfolio holder for finance, commercial and capital strategy, said, "We have carefully developed proposals to deliver a balanced budget in a national context of significant financial challenges for councils. Our overriding aim is to protect the essential frontline council services on which local residents and businesses rely." The budget setting process takes place in several stages each year. The proposals are considered by 2 scrutiny committees, then reviewed and submitted to Cabinet and then to the full council in February for final approval. Now, this week's appeals from Dorset Police. Officers from Dorset Police are appealing for witnesses or anyone with dashcam footage to come forward following a fatal road traffic collision in West Dorset. At 1:34 p.m. on Monday the 1st of January, Dorset Police received a report of a 3-vehicle road traffic collision on the A35 near Kingston Russell. The vehicles involved were a silver Kia Sorento, a black Toyota Aygo and a black BMW. A passenger of the Toyota, an 18-year-old man from Cornwall, was very sadly pronounced dead at the scene and his family have been notified. 3 further people were taken to hospital with injuries that were not believed to be life-threatening. Sergeant Gareth Thomas of the traffic unit said, "First and foremost, our thoughts are with the loved ones of the man who sadly died in the incident. An investigation is underway to establish what happened, and I am keen to hear from any witnesses to the collision or the manner of driving of the vehicles involved prior to it, if you have not already spoken to police." And they would also like to speak to any motorists who were travelling in the vicinity and may have captured anything of relevance on the car dash cams. Now, officers are also appealing for witnesses and again for dashcam footage to come forward following another accident, this time involving a serious injury road traffic collision near Beer Regis, unfortunately on the same day. Dorset Police received a report at 8:11 p.m. on Monday the 1st of January of a collision on the A35 near Bloxworth involving a white Ford Transit Connect and a black Volkswagen Caddy. Emergency services attended and the driver of the Volkswagen, a man aged in his 50s, was taken to hospital for treatment to injuries that are believed to be very serious. His family have been informed. It was reported that the driver of the Ford Transit had left the scene on foot. Following inquiries, a man aged in his 30s from Bournemouth has been arrested on suspicion of driving offences. The road was closed as emergency services responded to the incident and officers carried out an examination of the scene. Again, if you've got any details on that, any dashcam footage, etc., police would like to know. Now, one writer in the heart of our community here this time, officers are investigating an assault in Weymouth and appealing for witnesses or anyone to come forward. The victim, a male taxi driver aged in his 40s, picked up two men and a woman from the Punch Bowl Inn in Easton-on-Portland on Monday the 25th of December, so Christmas Day. It is reported that around 9:40 p.m, whilst driving on Lanehouse Rocks Road, one of the male passengers grabbed the victim by the neck. When stationary, the victim asked the man to leave the taxi and the suspect forced the driver's door open before punching the victim and damaging the vehicle. The suspect made off in the direction of Vines Place and Leamington Road. Fortunately, the victim did not sustain any serious injuries. The suspect is described as a man in his 30s, 5 feet 5 inches tall, with a stubbly beard. He was wearing a pink shirt, white vest, black trousers and brown shoes. It's reported that the suspect was in the company of a tall, thin man with blonde hair wearing glasses and a white long-sleeve shirt, as well as a woman in a white dress. Again, if you know anything about that incident, Christmas Day, 9:40 p.m. in the evening on Lanehouse Rocks Road. If you saw anything happening there, then please do contact Dorset Police. And finally, from Dorset Police this week, detectives are appealing for anyone with information to come forward as they investigate the death of a man at an address in Weymouth. Dorset Police received a report at 11:07 p.m. on Saturday the 30th of December relating to an incident where a man required medical assistance at the Hotel Central in Maiden Street. Officers attended along with the ambulance service and very sadly the man was pronounced dead at the scene shortly after 12 a.m. on Sunday the 31st of December. Inquiries are ongoing to identify and inform the man's next of kin and the coroner has been notified. Now, the death was originally being treated as unexplained, but as part of this investigation, 5 local men, 2 19-year-olds and men aged 21, 31 and 34 have been arrested on suspicion of murder. The latest update is that 19-year-old Joe Michael Williams from Weymouth has now been charged with murder. The police have now said, as this case will now be the subject of active court proceedings, it would not be appropriate for us to comment any further at this time, and we must ensure that the justice system is allowed to follow its course. However, if anybody's got any information on that, or any of the other incidents, or any CCTV, dash cam footage, etc., they are asked to contact Dorset Police on 101, or they can do this anonymously through Crime Stoppers by calling 0800 555 111. Now, the Dorset History Centre that hosts the county's archive records is to shut for 2 weeks while maintenance work is undertaken. The centre will be shut between the 15th to the 29th of January. The works that are to be undertaken are designed to make access to the archives easier. So I guess that's good news for the future. Documents stored at the centre go back many hundreds of years and include printed documents, parchment documents, audio-visual materials and more modern digital records. The centre reports that any inquiries received over the period that they are shut will be processed in the order they were received once the centre is open again. Now, Reg Pengelly, 70 from Dorchester, who's a local National Trust volunteer, has published a book about Thomas Hardy. Since retiring after 34 years in the police and some years working in the NHS, he's volunteered for the National Trust at Clouds Hill, the home of T.E. Lawrence, and has since taken a keen interest in history. It was there that his passion for history blossomed, and during the winter when Clouds Hill was closed, Mr. Pengelly began to give tours at Thomas Hardy's Dorset homes. Mr. Pengelly has now released a reference guide for all of Hardy's novels and stories, entitled Thomas Hardy PDQ. Part of this book has compiled 9 of Hardy's unpublished short stories into a collection for the first time. Later in his life, Thomas Hardy started compiling short stories into 4 collections. However, 9 novels were missed. Mr. Pengelly has now brought these together in this book. These 9 novels were published overseas in American magazines, but were sat around in the ether for a long time until Mr. Pengelly was researching the works on the internet. He said it was like going down a rabbit hole. I found one, then another one, and then eventually dug up all 9. Mr. Pengelly said that the 9 short stories have been published in his book for the first time, adding that he was proud that people now have access to them. Now, the book is available for sale online from Amazon and can also be purchased from Dorchester's Waterstones bookshop on the High Street. So if Thomas Hardy is something that interests you, maybe that's a book to put on your birthday list, or just to treat yourself with a Christmas voucher, or something to read during the winter. Now, Church Street in Upwey will be closed for 4 weeks between its junction with Stottingway Street and Goulds Hill, a length of approximately 850 metres. The closure will start on Monday, that's the 8th of January, and is expected to be completed by Friday, February the 2nd. The closure allows Wessex Water to carry out sewer renovation works to prevent infiltration, which is when groundwater seeps into the sewer. The alternative route, which will be signposted, is as follows: the B3159 to the C53 to the A354 to the B3159. So if you know your road numbers, that all will make sense. If it doesn't, it will be it will mean nothing to you. So you'll just need to follow the signs. I'm sure if you're local to that area, you will know all about this, but of course it is a common cut-through route to people getting to the back end of Dorchester and Poundbury, so just be aware that that is going to be shut for a period of 4 weeks. Now, other news. Electrical retailer Currys has announced that it will close their Weymouth store based at the Jubilee Retail Park in Weymouth on Friday the 1st of March. Staff at the Weymouth store have been made aware and have been offered to be redeployed to stores in Dorchester or Poole. A Curry spokesperson said, "We can confirm that our Weymouth store will be closing on March the 1st as the lease comes to an end. Colleagues impacted have been made aware of this decision and will be redeployed to local stores such as Dorchester or Poole if they wish. We will also support them if they choose to move to another business. Our customers in Weymouth will still be able to find all the tech they need at our stores in either Dorchester or Poole, where our colleagues will be looking forward to helping them." So a bit of a change there at the Jubilee Retail Park with that large store, Currys PC Wood, shutting, which means that there's probably only a couple of small IT shops left in Weymouth now for people to purchase computer stuff. And of course, if you want those bigger appliances, we're now going to need to go further afield. Weymouth Town Council is asking people to nominate local charities to be recognised by the Jubilee Clock being lit up as part of the Jubilee Clock Light Up scheme. In 2024, the council will be lighting up Weymouth's Jubilee Clock to raise awareness of good causes with the colours that best represent the chosen charities. This is something that's happened for the last couple of years. One charity can be represented per month, with the clock being lit up for up to 3 days during the month. In 2023, the clock face was illuminated on several occasions in support of charities and awareness days nominated by the public. In July, the RNLI was shown support, whilst in August, the Lexi May Trust was chosen. September saw the clock light up for Seasiders Cancer Support Group, and in October, the Weymouth Rotary Club was chosen. Wordmore Hospice and the Nesta in Weymouth rounded off the clock's illuminative display last year, appearing in November and December respectively. Nominations must be received by midday on Friday, January the 20th. The full list of nominations will then be considered by the Mayor of Weymouth, Councillor Kate Weller. Councillor Weller said, "This is a great opportunity to tell us which local charity or organisation you would like us to raise awareness of in 2024 by lighting up the Jubilee clock. This is such a great initiative that the council runs to shine a light on some amazing organisations that run across Weymouth. So please get your nominations in by midday on Friday the 20th of January. Residents can nominate any local charity or organisation that benefits Weymouth and its different communities by completing a short form online, and if you go to the Weymouth Town Council website you'll be able to find the link to that." Now, puppets that we'll probably all remember, whatever age we are celebrating their 75th year in 2024. The Sooty Sweeper and Sue show is coming to Weymouth Pavilion on April the 12th as they celebrate their 75th anniversary. And they've been coming to Weymouth for many, many years, in fact. There will be 2 shows on the day, with a matinee show at 11 a.m. and an afternoon performance at 2:30. A spokesman for Weymouth Pavilion said Sooty Sweep and Sue are planning a very special birthday party to celebrate the show's 75th anniversary, and everyone is invited. The party preparations are well underway. Sooty gets messy with baking the birthday cake, Sue's trying to find the perfect party dress, and Sweep's practicing his dance move and needs some boys and girls to join in with musical statues. With buckets of audience participation and gallons of giggles, this spectacular celebration of the longest running children's television show in the world will delight Sooty fans old and new, and is a must-see treat for the whole family. You can get more details and obviously tickets on the Weymouth Pavilion website at weymouthpavilion.com. Now, local construction materials and recycling services firm is expanding its West Dorset operation with the acquisition of Doonans from Weymouth, based in Lynch Lane. Avon Materials Supplies, or AMS, is expanding its concrete and aggregate services with the acquisition of Harold Doonan Building Materials Limited, known as Doonans, of Weymouth. AMS specialises in ready-mix concrete and building materials across Dorset, Somerset and West Hampshire, and is looking to expand its business into West Dorset. James Howarth, who's the managing director of AMS, said this acquisition is an important part of our business desire to strengthen its operations in the west of Dorset, and will perfectly complement the existing services we currently offer in the area, which includes the supply of concrete, construction aggregates and waste management services. From my time working with Harold, I'm confident we have acquired a successful business with a long history of providing fantastic services to the businesses and people of Weymouth and the surrounding areas. We're looking forward to continuing and building upon the great work Harold and his team have been doing over the last 3 decades. Now, as I say, 3 decades. Established over 30 years ago, Doonans is a family-run business that has been built a strong reputation for their expertise, reliability and commitment to customer satisfaction. Harold Doonan himself, managing director and founder of Doonan, says, "I'm delighted that the business my family and I have worked so hard to build up over the last 30 years will now be able to enter a new chapter under the ownership of Avon Material Supplies, a business we have admired for many years." And finally, a well-loved pantomime is returning to Weymouth this January. Dick Whittington will be performed by Weymouth Drama Club, the first pantomime the company has staged for a few years. The traditional story sees penniless boy Dick travel to London with his cat to seek his fortune. Along the way he meets Alderman Fitzwarren, his daughter Alice and Dame Polly Pudding, and her lazy assistant Jack. Meanwhile, King Rat, with partners in crime Wormtail and Rapunzel, passionately pursue Dick on his adventures in order to steal his fortune. The Club produces a variety of productions covering different genres, from Shakespeare and Agatha Christie to physical theatre and children's classics. Simon Rains, who's the chair of Weymouth Drama Club, said Dick Whittington will be feast for all the family at a knockout price. The directors, Antoinette Richards and Jackie Trent, have a wealth of pantomime experience, having played principal roles for the club and directed previous pantos. The pantomime will be performed on January the 19th and 20th at Weymouth Bay Methodist Church. Tickets are £12 for adults and £5 for under 12s. They can be purchased online at www.weymouthdramaclub.com. That's www.weymouthdramaclub.com. And that's the end of our headlines tonight. It's now time in our programme this week to go across to our regular contributor Andrew Wright for this week's film review and preview.
Welcome to White Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. On New Year's Day, the film One Life, starring Oscar winner Sir Anthony Hopkins, was released in cinemas. The film is a biographical drama film and revolves around the true story of Nicholas Winton, a British stockbroker who visited Czechoslovakia in the late 1930s and formed plans to assist in the rescue of Jewish children before the onset of World War II, in an operation that came to be known as Kindertransport. The film also stars notable British actors Helena Bonham Carter and Jonathan Pryce. The film is the feature film directorial debut of British director James Hawes, who gained prominence as a TV director, directing for Doctor Who, as well as directing a documentary starring the then Prince Charles. The film currently has nearly 90% positive reviews from critics, who praise the film's cast's performances as well as the film's handling of the true story. The film is in cinemas now. This weekend, the newest Blumhouse horror film, Night Swim, will be released in cinemas. The film stars Wyatt Russell, son of actor Kurt Russell, and Oscar nominee Kerry Condon, and revolves around a family moving into a new house where they find an unknown supernatural presence haunting their backyard swimming pool. This film is notable for being the first film released by Blumhouse following their merger with James Wan's Atomic Monster, following the success of their joint horror film Megan this time last year, and James Wan is credited as a producer, I believe, on Night Swim. Currently, I think that I'm not sure if the film has any reviews for it out yet or not. It wasn't when I looked. So I don't know what it'll be like, but I've seen the trailer, and I do recommend checking it out if you're a fan of horror. I will probably watch it at some point, so stay tuned. As the calendar has rolled over into 2024, that brings with it a whole new slate of movies to look forward to. Some of them were delayed from 2023 due to the dual strikes. For instance, Dune Part 2 releases in March, after originally supposed to have been released in October. Some of the films that I'm looking forward to the most are films like Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, the Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski collaboration film If, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the John Wick spin-off Ballerina, Saw 11, the Dwayne Johnson Christmas film Red 1, and the third live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Oh, and Deadpool 3. With all these exciting films and many more on the release slate for this year, it's shaping up to be a great year for film. So be sure to keep tuning in as I cover all these exciting films. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week, where I will be reviewing the home video release of The Exorcist Believer. And I will be also covering Marvel Studios' Echo, their new mini-series debuting on Disney+. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much there, Andrew. And certainly that film One Life with Sir Anthony Hopkins in has had a lot of media coverage this week. And I probably mentioned it before, I do remember watching the original Esther Rantzen programme where she covered it, and all of the youngsters that, or a number of the youngsters that he had got out safely to the UK were actually in the audience, and he was surprised when he turned around and they all stood up. So I do remember that many, many years ago. And it's a film that I look forward to watching sometime very soon too. Okay, it's time to go to the Met Office for the weekend weather forecast, and this week we are joined by Greg Dewhurst.
Hello there, welcome to your latest broadcast from the Met Office. It is all changed through this weekend with our weather after an exceptionally wet start to the new year. We have high pressure building in, keeping away weather fronts out in the Atlantic. and this allows it to stay dry across much of the UK, though a brisk easterly wind developing as we head into the beginning of next week, making it feel cold for all of us. For Saturday, generally a west-east split across the country. Best of the sunshine across Scotland, Northern Ireland, western parts of England and Wales. Quite chilly here despite that sunshine. Further east, generally cloudy skies, the risk of 1 or 2 spots of light rain or drizzle, perhaps a little sleet and snow over the high ground across North Yorkshire, and also some outbreaks of showery rain for Orkney and Shetland. Still quite breezy here, but for most, generally light winds. In terms of temperatures, around average for the time of year, perhaps a little below across the northern parts of the UK, 4 to 6 degrees, still 8 or 9 across the far southwest. As we move through the evening time under the clearest skies, temperatures dropping away quite quickly. There is a lot of surface water around at the moment, so we could see some icy stretches developing across the country where temperatures fall below freezing, especially during the early hours. And with light winds across parts of Northern Ireland, Scotland in particular, we could see some dense mist and fog patches forming, so do take extra care if you are travelling, particularly during the nighttime periods over the coming days. A bit more cloud across northern England, stretching down into parts of Wales, the Midlands, thick enough for a few showers, again perhaps falling as sleet and snow over the highest ground of northern England, and also just the wind picking up and then pushing in some showers, which again could be wintry into the far southeast. In terms of temperatures, where skies are clear, falling below freezing, we could see temperatures down to -6 to -8 in the glens of Scotland. Temperatures in towns and cities a little higher than this, but cold enough for some icy stretches to take us into Sunday morning. Temperatures hovering around freezing, even where we have some cloud around too, which could be quite low and quite murky to start across parts of England on Sunday morning. Dense fog patches taking their time to clear from Northern Ireland and Scotland, but when it does, we'll have plenty of sunshine for many. Still some bigger cloud bringing in a few wintry showers across northern and eastern England, perhaps 1 or 2 getting towards the Midlands, but most places dry, and at the same time the showers across the far southeast should slowly fade, but the wind remaining brisk here. In the best of the sunshine, with light winds in the winter sunshine, it won't feel too bad, but still temperatures struggling where we do keep some fog. Glasgow there, for example, could be around 1 or 2 Celsius. Still some showers down the east coast of Scotland too, 5 or 6 at best. Add on that brisk wind in the southeast, it will feel cooler than this here. Temperatures nearer to freezing, perhaps even 1 or 2 places feeling a little below this as well. So it remains very cold as we head through a Sunday evening, the frost and ice returning quite quickly, and some mist and fog patches taking us into Monday morning. So it is worth taking care over the coming days, for the risk of some ice, some fog could lead to some longer journey times as the week goes on. So if you'd like more information on the weather over the rest of the weekend and into next week, you can follow us on our social media channels. See you again soon.
Thank you very much there, Greg, for the weekend weather forecast. And looking at the local weather, here we go. It has changed, as you can see. There's none of those little drippy things that we've been having for many, many, many weeks. And the numbers are much lower. So, sunny spells, clear days, colder temperatures, and frost coming in overnight. And I think the long range forecast is for quite serious sub-zero temperatures in about 10 days time. So make sure you get those warm coats out and those gloves out, and get ready for those lower temperatures coming our way. Now looking at the what's on, Weymouth Pavilion, 12th of January the Big Country Show, 19th of January Queen Rhapsody, 20th of January the Rolling Stones Story, 21st of January Spirit of the Dance, and 26th of January Thank You for the Music and ABBA Tribute. WeymouthPavilion.com is the website as ever, and the box office 01305 783 225, 01305 783 225. The Nose Fort is currently shut for the next 4 or 5 weeks, but do pop along to their website, nosefort.org.uk, to find out when they are reopening and what they have in store. Now, coming up to Arts Reach, a new programme is published I mentioned that last week, and if you want to get them to send you a programme direct by post, pop along to their website, artsreach.co.uk, and you can get them to send you the full programme. But just the highlights for our side of the county. 12th of January, Old Baby Mackerel, which is bluegrass music at Portersham Village Hall. 19th of January, Fragments, Project Dance Company at Buckland Newton Village Hall. Sunday the 21st of January, Wild Visions, Untamed Myths, Storytelling at Cerne Abbas Village Hall. And Friday the 26th of January, an evening of very old radio at West Stafford Village Hall. And I think I mentioned that last week, performed by Paul Carenza, a British Comedy Award-winning writer, wrote programmes for Miranda and Not Going Out, so, quite very well-known programmes. He's a comedian and broadcast historian, so you can expect tales, clips and reenactments of Auntie Beeb's earliest landmark moments, including the first BBC broadcast, the first children's drama, sports commentary and much, much more. As we say, artsreach.co.uk for more details of what they have coming up. Looking at church services in White Ridges this weekend, Communion 8 a.m. at All Saints Church tomorrow. Cafe Church, the more family-friendly, informal short service at 9:30 tomorrow at All Saints Church, and a communion service again 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Church at Lanehouse. We have our quiz programme coming up very, very shortly. Where are we? It's 18:40 now, so in about 40 minutes or 50 minutes maybe, 50 minutes. At 7:30. Feed will go live about 7:20, so people can find it and get themselves sitting comfortably. Everybody is welcome. It's free, it's family friendly, and available for all, and be pleased if you join me for that. That brings us towards the end of this week's programme. Just for me to say, if you've got any news or events or stories or anything else to let us know about, the email as ever is news@whiteridges.tv, news@whiteridges.tv. We would love to hear from you. I hope you have a very good weekend and a good week ahead. At least it won't be wet. But do wrap up warm if you're going out. And I look forward to being back with you 6 o'clock next Saturday. Have a good week. Good night.